Ladies and gentlemen, 2022 is upon us. And let me tell you, it's going to be one hell of a year. I don't think it's going to be like 2020, but it is going to bring the intensity and the fire. All right. If you want to know everything, at least all the important stuff that this coming year has to offer, stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss this. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and as always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. And speaking of content, head over to Instagram and follow me over there at Divine Feminine Works. Every day, I've got a whole bunch of content on tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. All right, so head over there and follow me. All right, so I am so excited to be bringing you this video because this is the video of the year. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, this is the one you definitely want to watch. Actually, this series, because I'm going to be breaking it down by sign, okay? But this is the 2022 astrology forecast. One of my favorite phrases is when you know better, you do better. And if you know what's coming ahead in the coming year, rest assured you're going to be prepared and you're going to know exactly what to do. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the best place to start, as always, is the beginning. So let's take a look at 2022 generally. 2022 is a 6th year in numerology. And while I'm not an expert on numerology, nor am I really like deep into it, I do believe that numerology helps us understand the world around us. And so 2022 is a 6th year. 6 is the number of Venus. 6 is also represented by the Lovers card in the Tarot. So there's this undercurrent in this coming year of relationships, not just our relationships with others, but also our relationship with ourselves. So how we relate to other people, what we think, how we express ourselves is really something that's going to be a major theme this year, okay? And it's interesting that I talk about 6 being the number of Venus because at the top of the year, we have some very Venus-centric energy. Going into 2022, we have a nodal shift. Now, this kicked off back in November with the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, and it started a new 18-month cycle where the north node is in Taurus and the south node is in Scorpio. Now, the Taurus-Scorpio axis is all about resources. It's all about money. It's all about debt. It's all about tangible things versus emotional things. And I feel like this coming year, there's going to be a huge financial shift. We've already started seeing this over the last couple of years, but with the North Node in Taurus, particularly with Uranus also in Taurus, which will conjunct the North Node at some point this year, we're going to see money in a very new and innovative sort of way. I feel like, obviously cryptocurrency has been huge over the last couple of years, and I feel like there's more of that sort of new and exciting financial resources that is going to be available to everyone. And I feel like this is something that's really going to play out this year with the North Node being in Taurus. Now, the South Node in Scorpio is all about deep emotions, old traumas, emotional wounds coming up to the surface to be healed and eradicated. So if you find that you are on this emotional roller coaster this year, that's pretty much due, in fact, to the South Node in Scorpio. It's going to be intense, but it's also going to clear the way for a lot of that new stuff that's coming thanks to the North Node in Taurus. All right. So that's sort of how the year begins. The year also begins with Venus retrograde in Capricorn. And with that, we are taking a magnifying glass to our relationships, and we're looking at them through a very practical lens. Retrograde planets are all about revisiting, remembering, reassessing. So a lot of us are sort of taking stock of our relationships and figuring out how are they structured? Do they work for us? Do these things and these people that we have in our lives, do they make sense on a practical and everyday sort of level? So between January and February, we're really going to be taking a deep dive into our relationships and just trying to see if they make sense for us, if they fit into our lives in the best way possible. And again, being that Venus is in Capricorn, it's going to be very practical, very down to earth, no nonsense kind of approach that we take to relationships, okay? Also money too, because Venus represents money. So especially with Venus in Capricorn, in a very materialistic earth sign like Capricorn, we are going to be taking a hard look at our money. How do we make money? How do we keep money? What kind of financial goals do we have? That's also characteristic of Venus in Capricorn retrograde. So we've got that in January. February is going to be a very important month, particularly for the United States, but for the world at large, because in February, the United States is going to experience its Pluto return. And a Pluto return is a very big deal. It happens like every 200 something years, okay? And so Pluto return, particularly with Pluto being in Capricorn, we're going to see a very huge transformational change with respect to government, with respect to corporations, with respect to large organizations. It's like things are going to be turned on their head. And it's almost like a dismantling of the structures that we've had for so long. So there's going to be complete endings, complete transformations. And while this time is going to be very intense, not only just for us here in the US, but for the world at large, being that the US is a superpower, it's going to give birth to a completely new structure that we're going to see gain momentum over the next couple of years. So it's almost like what we've known is going to be dismantled, and it's going to pave the way for something completely different in terms of how we're governed, in terms of how we deal with other countries, and in terms of how we just run ourselves. So it's a very interesting time to be alive, particularly in the United States. All right. And so again, that's going down in February, and it's going to be like a complete transformation. All right, moving right along, we get to April and we have Jupiter conjoining Neptune in Pisces. And this particular aspect is going to give way to a very intense spiritual awakening. This is like everyone is going to start to come online, and they're going to start really delving into their spirituality, their purpose in life, and just a lot more people are just going to become more spiritually aware. It's going to be a very transformative time, but in a very ethereal sort of way. I mean, there has been a huge shift in terms of spirituality over the last couple of years, definitely since 2012. And Jupiter conjoining Neptune in Pisces is going to sort of take that to the next level on a much wider scale. So it's almost like a whole bunch of people are going to be taking the red pill now and are going to be waking up and realizing that we're in this matrix and, doing everything to ascend spiritually. It's going to be a very magical time. It's also going to be a very intense time because spiritual awakenings are not for the faint of heart. And if we're talking about it on a grand scale with Jupiter in the mix, you're going to have a lot of people waking up and it's not going to be very comfortable. But it's necessary because the world around us is changing and we've got to change with it. The world itself is ascending and we've got to do the same. And Jupiter conjoining Neptune in Pisces is going to help us do just that. And again, that's going down in April. The next month, we have Jupiter entering Aries, and this is going to last from May to October. And Jupiter in Aries is important because this is where we are going to experience a surge of new leadership. I feel like new leaders are going to be stepping up and are going to be ready to take the helm in this new world that is emerging. Apart from that, there is going to be an overall sense of self-autonomy. So not only are new leaders going to be emerging, but I feel like we are also going to be learning how to lead ourselves and sort of taking charge of our own lives. And Jupiter also represents spirituality in a way. And so a lot of us are going to be doing this as a result of this spiritual awakening. A lot of us are going to be more sovereign, self-autonomous, and just ready to take charge of our lives in an individualistic sort of way. All right. And so between May and October, when Jupiter is in Aries, a lot of us are going to have the motivation to do these things. We're going to feel like the universe is pushing us to sort of lead not only others, but ourselves. So it's, again, 2022 is a year of intensity. Great time to be alive. And we're going to see a complete shift of everything. Now, one of the major transits in 2022 is Saturn square Uranus. Now, we've gotten a taste of this at the tail end of 2021, and this is really going to play out heavily between October and November of 2022. So Saturn square Uranus, if I had to sum it up in a sentence, it's basically boundaries and structure on the one hand versus freedom on the other. And many of us have been feeling this for the last couple of years, and that's only going to ramp up this year. It's definitely a feeling of extremism, but it's in a way that's going to help us to forge this new world that we're entering. So on the one hand, we've got Saturn in Aquarius, which is all about structure, right? Saturn had left Capricorn at the end of 2020. And that was sort of a dismantling of the structures we had already known. Saturn in Aquarius is very much about this new structure that is a bit less rigid than we've experienced in the past, but structure nonetheless. And also boundaries, right? And this is squaring Uranus and Taurus, which is all about freedom, which is all about rebellion, particularly on a very practical and daily life sort of level, being that Uranus is in Taurus. And so there's this sort of tug of war between this new structure and just breaking free and doing whatever the fuck you want, right? And we're going to definitely be feeling that throughout the year, but most definitely between October and November, okay? So to sum up what this year represents for us, it's spiritual awakenings, it's boundaries being broken, it's new structures that are sort of rising from the ashes of the crumbling structures that we've been experiencing in the last couple of years. Like this is, I can't say this enough, this is definitely a great time to be alive because things that we've known, things that we're used to, things that we've experienced over a long period of time are going to be turned on their heads. And we're going to experience brand new ways of relating to each other. I mean, Uranus and Taurus is very much about changes in technology as well, particularly the devices that we use, the products that we use. There's going to be an even more rapid technological advance with Uranus remaining in Taurus and with the North Node in Taurus as well. So we're going to relate to each other in different and new ways. Structures that have been fixtures in our society have crumbled. And I'm telling you, this US Pluto return, I feel like our government is going to be completely different. What we've known as far as governmental structures and how we've dealt with other countries, I feel like that is going to be a thing of the past. And whatever emerges is going to be completely different than what we've ever experienced. And then we're going to have this spiritual awakening where so many of us are becoming conscious and we're becoming aware of just how we can be self-autonomous and how we can create our own lives and experience life in the driver's seat. Okay. So again, this year is nothing short of interesting. Buckle up, get your popcorn because there's going to be a lot going on and just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. It may be an emotional roller coaster, but by the end, when everything is said and done, we are going to live in a new world that is arguably so much better. All right, my loves, that has been the Astro Forecast for 2022. I sincerely hope that you were able to glean some information that may be helpful to you in the coming year. As always, it is my pleasure and a privilege to be bringing this information to you. I wish you nothing but the best. I mean, the absolute best for 2022. This is going to be a year to remember, and I sincerely hope that it brings you everything that your heart truly desires. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next year. Take care.